Righto! Welcome back to Friday Reviews. I haven't done one of these in a long ass time because no good albums have been dropping in the metal scene anyway. I'm sticking to metal. Today we're going to be talking about Humanity's Last Breath's new album, Ashen. Great choice of title. I'm not biased at all because my girlfriend's name is Ash. So just a quick rundown here. Humanity's Last Breath are probably one of the heaviest bands you will ever hear. This band, I don't know how they do it, but they can continuously become heavier. I remember listening to them back when I was first getting into the gent genre, like deathcore and the heavier side of music, and I heard some things off of their debut, and I was blown the fuck away. I was like, this is not real. I've been following them since the Detester EP. To bring back the flex section, this one's going to be a good one because I have every single album except for the new one. So I have self-titled, I've got Detester, I've got Abyssal, I have Valdo. The artwork on these things are fucking fantastic. There's the Zlatoslav type thing, which is pretty damn fucking cool. To get straight into the album itself, the production on this thing is monstrous. It is enormous. I don't know how they do it, but each and every fucking album, they just get heavier. The guitars are meaty as shit and handle the pitch shifting so well. These guys are a great example of using low tunings and doing it well. Like, to use an example, you look at the Crown the Empire album that came out earlier this year. The song Immortalized sounds like absolute dog shit because it was a tuned down guitar with the wrong tone. Whereas this album, they know what they're doing. Buster knows what he's doing with these kinds of guitars. The drums are punchy. As a professional fucking boxer, it will hit you in the fucking ears so hard. You will get a concussion 6 times over before this album finishes. Each one canceling out the last one. All the like effects and backing and all that kind of stuff help with creating this really dark aesthetic overall. It does such a good job of taking you into a world that makes you uncomfortable. It makes you incredibly uncomfortable. That's the thing that us deathcore fans, we find compelling. We find the darker side of things. It's why people have been latching on to bands like, say, Lorna Shore. Because Lorna Shore have been doing a more symphonic take on the deathcore thing. Speaking of Lorna Shore, this album does a really good job of dodging ear fatigue. You can actually listen through this without your ears dying by the end of it, unlike, let's say, the newest Lorna Shore album. I'm not saying that Lorna Shore's album is bad because I enjoyed that album. I'm just saying it can hurt after a while just because it's so crazy. It goes way too fast in too many sections and it just kind of hurts the ears. Maybe I'm just a little pussy ass bitch, but you know. To go into the songwriting side of things, I think that best describes where they dodge the air fatigue. They have a slower style of play. They really go to that speed focus. There are sections that they do utilize speed, but most of the time they're filling it out with chunky ass riffs, silly noises, dissonance, and just like this all-around heavier, kind of almost black metal style of heavy. Which is quite smart considering the production is so clean. The riffs are a classic blend of their trademark high dissonance and the lowest fucking frequency guitars physically capable. And then they go lower than that. They write riffs that the crust of the earth couldn't even live up to how heavy it is. Lyrically, it's all about one thing though. I think that deathcore is always at its weakest in its lyrical end, other than their creative use of language itself. Just to give it a bit more edge to it, mainly because they're all writing about one thing: the death of the human race and eradicating the human disease. Deathcore is about death. Funnily enough, deathcore is about death. The lyrics, though, in this album, they're truly spiteful. Like, this person needs either a hug or something stronger than that. I don't think they're okay. They don't like humans very much. And that's okay. You don't have to. There's some humans are pretty fucking disgusting. Like I say, I think that the genre itself lacks creativity in the lyrical area, but at the same time, it can't really go anywhere else. You don't really want to write a love song with like the heaviest fucking guitars you've ever heard in your life. I could be wrong. Please, Humanity's Last Breath, write a goddamn love song. Please, that would be funny. In talking all that shit about the lyrics, we don't really want to understand the lyrics, do we? That's why we love the guttural screams and the banshee screeches. Because we don't have to know what he's on about. We just have to know that he's fucking angry about it. So going into the songs themselves, we have Blood Spilled, the opener. It was a stress-filled opener. It prepares you for how dirty this fucking album's going to be. And there's distortion everywhere, which is not something I'm normally too fond of, but they kind of utilized it to set the tone and make you really uncomfortable. Follow-up song Linger was the third single and has a good 3 vibe switches in it that open up the song to a more atmospheric exploration. It's not my favorite on the album, and it wasn't my favorite when it came out as a single. I didn't really listen to the singles all that much outside of Labyrinthian. Still, I think it served its purpose very well. Lifeless and Deathless, this song is what I'm fucking talking about. This song is everything that I look for when I'm listening to Humanity's Last Breath. This song has some fucked up rhythmic pulses, ending with low open notes where you're least expecting them. The dissonance, the atmosphere working in tandem to make the most evil shit you could ever hear. And enormous breakdowns making you just stank face the whole time. You're just sitting there with an ugly little stank face on your face. Also, some very Vildhjata sounding sections, which I know that these guys are kind of brother-sister band. I know that Buster has a good hand in the drums for Vildhjata, and I believe Kali helped production-wise on this album as well, which again furthers the parallel for Vildhjata. Now, the next song, Withering, it was low open notes, rule this song. While the song doesn't feel 100% like it does much different, it still keeps you in the world that they built so far, and it's kind of more of a bridge between huge songs. Yet not every song has to be fucking top tier in the album. Deathcore kind of suffers in the sense that if you're not looking for something that's just crazy nasty, you're probably going to be disappointed. If you're looking for like conceptual vibe switches and everything, like go listen to Sleep Token again. The next song, Instill, second single off of the album, and it has this choir singing this unholy menacing chorus. I like to have it like broken up by this pure filthy nasty like rhythmic section that they're just having fun with. You know they're having fun making this thing sound stupid. It worked. Ends off with a really fucking big breakdown. Not too much to say on this song, again, other than that choir section with the drums in the background and giant fucking guitars. It wasn't all that much. Now, the next song, Labyrinthian, lead single and the best single on this album, in my opinion. Still one of my favorites out of the album. It has like this perfect use of dynamics, the stop-start scratchy noises to make the big riffs stand out. And the big riffs are just pitch shift to sheer silliness. It's a classic. It's a classic Humanity's Last Breath song, and easily up there with the rest of their catalog. Catastrophize, that's a stank face. Again, we're going for the stank face. It continues for the remainder of the song as well. You just stank the whole damn time. Super groovy sections as well. It's real fun. I enjoyed that one a lot. Death Spiral. This song opens with a riff that Buster teased on his Instagram a while back, and I have waited so long to hear that riff in context and have it on my Spotify, because that thing is God damn. This one can go alongside everything else as one of those classic Humanity's Last Breath songs with everything you could ask for, dynamically and sonically. Shell, the next song, harmonic silliness is what I used to describe it. It feels like in the arse end of the album, we are having a lot more fun with the silly noises and nasty riffs. I'll be honest, that's what I came to this album for. That's what I came and expected from these guys. I just want things to sound really fucking low out of nowhere. I want to hear the lowest possible frequencies out of a guitar. I want it to sound like the string is causing earthquakes. Passage, the last single that dropped on the album, and on reflection, it wasn't the best. I don't know why they chose to release a fourth single. They could have done without it. They did. They released a fourth single, and this was it. There was a lot more speed in this song. Like I mentioned earlier, they rarely go to a speed place, but there was a lot more in this song, and a crazy amount of like triplets, blast beats, and all that kind of thing. We love that in the deathcore area. I feel like they were like, look, this is the obligatory blast beat song. I also thought that at this stage, it felt like something from earlier on. I feel like if it was up in the list, it could have fit a little better, but at the same time, it wasn't a bad song. It wasn't bad. Burden is an interlude. It's kind of like a lull before the storm. It's menacing as all hell. Gives you a bit of a break before, you know, you get slapped in the face by the final song. Also keeps that tension steady that they've had the entire album. They've just kept you in that chokehold. And the final song, Bearer. It's a true display of their capabilities on the low tuning frequency end. Like their low tunings are matched by none. It's much like the final song on the last album, Valde. It was called Withering. Withering? I believe it's called Withering. Withering. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, on the Ashen of Valde, there was a song called Withering that was just tuned below anything you would ever expect. And I think that they brought that back with this final song. It's silly. Silliness. In summary, I would say that while I could sing the praises of this album all day, and I love it as an avid like deathcore listener and extreme music fan, I can't help but once again think that this genre is reaching the edge of its capabilities. Lyrically and musically. The album is it's a very one note, and if that's the vibe that you're looking for, like I said earlier, if you're just looking for nastiness, go straight to this album. It's definitely worth looking into for that. And saying all of this as well, Buster is this kind of genius in the sense that he's creating these technically amazing works, be it in the use of guitar in the production itself or the production itself. His production style is crazy, and you can tell that there's a lot of hard work and love put into this album just to make the listening experience fun and interesting. As I say this, I think that he's one of the innovators in the scene at the moment. If the genre has any chance of being good in the future or continuing to be good, Buster's the guy to go to. So that was an easy enjoy for me. On my scale, I would say that it's easily enjoyed, 100%. And if you want your number score, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I don't think I could go high. I think the highest I would go is 8, but it's a really high 7 out of 10. Well, that will be it for the Friday review today, my friends. Go give this album a listen. I think that Humanity's Last Breath deserve a lot more fans. And now that them and Viljada are releasing more often, I'm all the fucking way in. The next one that we're going to be reviewing is Casket's Reflections, the new album Reflections, and that will be up as soon as possible as well. If you fuck with this kind of thing, I do this live on my Twitch channel over here. People come and hang out and listen to me drop stupid opinions about stupid albums online. They're not stupid albums. These guys are fucking incredible musicians, and I'm kind of like I'm just a random dude on the internet putting down his opinions now, huh?